start recording, and you can go ahead and introduce yourself and get started.
All right, excellent. Well, my name is Ryan Horn. I'm with Stephen F. Austin State University. So thank you very much for having me today. I know we are recording this, but looks like we have a couple of students here, Miss Aspen and maybe Natalie. Was that the name I saw pop up? I definitely want to make sure, since both of you have taken the time out to come out today, I'll have a presentation, but I definitely want to make sure I answer any questions that the both of you may have, as well as you, Miss Victoria. So if there is something that you're wanting to know specifically, please let me know. And then we'll definitely make sure at the end of this little presentation that we have some time for Q&A as well. As I mentioned, my name is Ryan. I am one of the Dallas-Fort Worth Regional Admissions Counselors for Stephen F. Austin State University. So what that means is that I am here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am a direct contact for campus with you guys. Of course, right now with COVID-19 and everything that's happening, can't be there in person on your campus, but when things get back to normal, which is hopefully soon, I will be very accessible to you guys. If you need help with anything throughout the semester, need me to come in and get some transcripts or talk to you, answer questions or anything of that nature, I will absolutely be able to do so. In the meantime, please take down all my contact information here. You'll see my phone number, email address on the screen right now. Write all that information down. Because again, even though we can't see or meet face to face, I want you guys to know that I'm very accessible and I'm here for you guys. So if you have any questions later on after the presentation, if you think of something at any point in time, shoot me an email, give me a call, text me, whatever the case may be. I want to be able to help you guys out. So we're going to dive right in, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little about Stephen F. Austin State University and some of the great things that we have to offer. Now, one of the first things that I always tell them, I always let my students know, is where we are and where we're located. You'll see we're out in Nacogdoches, Texas. We are about 3 hours from you guys, maybe a little over 3 hours from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I have a nice little map right there on the screen. You can see we're nestled away in the deep East Texas piney woods. So far enough away to get you away from home, but still close enough to get back if you need to get back. It's a beautiful campus out there, nestled away in the East Texas piney woods. But I can say that we're one of Texas' best kept secrets. Now, just some quick facts about Stephen F. Austin State University. We were established in 1923 as a teacher's college. So that's kind of our bread and butter. That's what we're known for, is our College of Education. We produce teachers across the state. And I'm going to dive a little more into that here in just a second about some of the other majors that we have, as well as our education majors. Our current enrollment, we're right about 13,000 students, a little less than 13,000 students. This year's numbers haven't come out yet. We're expecting to be down just a little bit, just with everything that's going on in the world right now. But we're still anywhere from that 12 to 13,000 range. What that means for you as a student, we are a mid-size university. We are a Division I school, but we're a mid-size, not too big, not too small. Average class size is about 25 to 30 students, and I'll show you some more numbers here in just a minute as far as that's concerned. Excellent retention rate. What that means for you is when we get our students to SFA, we get you there, get you involved, we're graduating our students. They're not transferring out or dropping out or failing out or anything like that. We have over 70% retention rate. So once students get down to SFA, it's a great place to be, and we want to make sure we keep you around. Just some more numbers for you to look at. We have about 80 different majors and 120 areas of study. So we have just about anything you might be interested in. Those areas of study and degrees all fall under 6 colleges, which I'm going to discuss a little more in just a second. I mentioned earlier in here, so you can see about 25 to 30 students is average class size. So you're really getting to know your professors. They're putting a face with a name. You're not just a number in the crowd. They're really getting to know who you are. 40 master's degree programs and 3 doctoral degrees. The student-teacher ratio is about 18 to 1. But again, for you guys, the more important number that you're really looking at is that class size. Are you going to be lost in a big crowd? Are you looking for a small classroom? If you're looking for a classroom of 200 or 300 students, we're just not set up like that. You're never going to walk into an auditorium style classroom with hundreds of students in there with a professor or graduate assistant down at the bottom where you can barely hear them. That's not how we're set up. You're going to get more of that one-on-one, that intimate feel. Now, talking about some of the majors that we have to offer and some of the colleges. Like I said, there's 6 colleges that create our university umbrella, and we'll start here with the College of Business, the Nelson Rusche College of Business. We're an accredited school of business. You'll see everything from accounting, banking, general business, finance, marketing. An excellent and up-and-coming degree that we have is our sports business. That's a big fan favorite on campus right now. We actually have, you'll see there, over $650,000 invested in our Mass Roundtable. Our students are actually trading on the stock market with real money. It's been donated over the years and money they've earned. And all that money that's earned on the stock market is going back to the college for scholarships and to benefit the College of Business. So we have an excellent College of Business area. Next up is going to be our James I. Perkins College of Education. Now, I stated this at the very beginning, but this is what we're known for. We started out in 1923 as a teacher's college. We have one of the only types of charter schools in the state that's very unique to our campus. It's our Early Childhood Research Center, all the way from infant to 5th grade. The charter school is the actual school there on campus. It's there housed in our education building for our college education students. So they have the benefit of actually having a real school there on our campus. You're really getting some hands-on experiences there. That's just the education field is just one of the many areas under the College of Education. See everything from kinesiology to interior design, health sciences, athletic coaching. Great areas there. Another new addition to the College of Education under our human sciences is our culinary cafe and our food trucks. So that's a pretty neat hands-on experience thing there that our students are able to partake in. Next is our College of Fine Arts. We have 3 main categories under our College of Fine Arts: it's art, music, and theater. So great fine arts area if you're wanting to get anything from orchestra, band, music performance, anything of that nature. Our theater, we have design and tech, performance, stage management. We also have theater education. And then with our art education, history, filmmaking, cinematography, graphic design, things of that nature. So again, small classes, very hands-on areas there on campus. Arthur Temple College of Forestry and Agriculture. This is probably the second biggest area on our or thing that we're most known for. I mentioned earlier where we're located out there in East Texas, deep East Texas, right in the middle of the piney woods. Just kind of a nice fit. We have over 640,000 acres of experimental forest and national forest within driving distance there of campus or around campus that our students have access to. Agribusiness to forestry, horticulture, poultry sciences. An excellent area. Again, very hands-on. Our students aren't just sitting in a classroom looking at a projection screen. You're actually out there in the field, doing what you went to school to do. The College of Science and Mathematics. This is a very, very popular area on our campus. Everything from astronomy, biochem, down to our nursing and pre-health. We have one of the top-rated nursing schools in the state of Texas. State-of-the-art facilities. We actually just opened up a $46 million STEM center on campus. Very user-friendly. Have maker space and creative spaces for our students to actually go in there and create and build. Our planetarium, we have a brand new planetarium right there on campus. Just a spectacular building and complex. I'm going to talk a little bit towards the end, but I always like to mention it here since this is just a picture doesn't do it justice. But once we open back up fully and you guys can get out and about and start traveling, we definitely want to invite you down to tour campus, put your feet there at SFA and on campus in Nacogdoches. There's just so many incredible buildings, and the atmosphere is welcoming, and it's really just a beautiful campus, and buildings and architecture like this are fantastic. And last but not least is our College of Louisville and Applied Arts. Now this is, as far as number-wise, probably the largest as far as how many majors and students are there, just because this has really all those other areas that you tend to think about that you hear around, like political science, psychology, English, film studies, linguistics, anthropology. There's just a number of majors that are listed here under the College of Liberal and Applied Arts. And again, small classes, professors that are teaching those classes. We have over 80% of those faculty staff members hold the highest degree in their field, and they've actually been out in that workforce, and they decided they want to come back and teach. So you're getting some firsthand knowledge and experience there. Now, with all the majors, that's one of the things that I always talk about when I'm talking with my students one-on-one, especially. I'm not a used car salesman. I'm not trying to tell you that SFA is better than any other school that you're going to listen to or go visit. That's not my job. My job is to tell you what SFA has to offer. It's a great place. I went there. I graduated back in 2006, many moons ago. Had a blast and love talking about SFA. But my job as an admissions counselor is to find a university or a school that's the right fit for you. And I want you to have all the opportunities and information to make those decisions. This is a huge one here with the majors that are listed. When you're doing your college search or when you're looking for schools, you want to make sure that you find a university or a school that has the major that you're looking for. And if you're unsure, all you have to do is ask us admissions counselors. We're not going to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you that SFA has a degree or major that we don't have just to get you there. That's not how we're set up. That's not what we're doing. If you're asking for a major or looking for a particular major and you don't see it on our list, it may be called something different. You may not be used to it, or the name that you're referring to might be something different. And I can tell you that we, as admissions counselors, can let you know, we don't have that major, but maybe this might be something that you're interested in. One example that I use and talk about is architecture. If a student was wanting to look for architecture, that is one of the few areas that we at SFA don't currently have. Now, we do have some fields and areas of study that are very similar or that can build you up to that, that fall under our human sciences, our interior design. They use that AutoCAD drafting system. So it's some good basic knowledge there to help you move on to an architecture school later on. The next thing that I'll do is get you in contact or point you to a school that might have architecture, just using that as an example. So again, don't hesitate to ask if you're looking for a major and you don't see it on our list. We're going to let you know, and it's okay to ask if another school has that major. A good admissions counselor is going to make sure and tell you what schools have those majors, because we want you to make the best decision. And I don't mind putting my university up against any other university as far as major to major goes. So we want you to make the decision and compare them. But 80 majors, 120 areas of study, just about anything you might be interested in. Now, for my students that are on today, do you have any quick questions over the majors? Is there anything that you might were looking for that you didn't see on the list? Please feel free to unmute yourself, or you can put it in the chat, or whatever you're more comfortable with. And if not, that's okay. We'll follow back up here in just a minute. All right, if there's not any questions there, we're going to move right on to the good stuff here, talking about how we can get you into SFA and the application process. Now, for this screen that's up right now, if everybody can see it, this is our freshman admissions requirements as of today. I want to make sure I'm very clear on that, because with the ever-changing environment that we're in with COVID-19, I mean, who would ever thought that you guys would be searching for colleges right in the middle of a global pandemic? So some things have changed even since the summer. They're liable to change moving forward, but we want to make sure that you have the most up-to-date information, and we will continuously update you as things change. But one of the nice things, if you will, for you seniors, is SFA has turned into test optional for fall of 21. What that means for you as a high school senior is when you apply, we need the Apply Texas, and I'll have a checklist up here in just a second, but basically the Apply Texas application with your official high school transcripts. That will get your process started, your admissions process. You'll see here on the screen there is a chart just to kind of give you an idea of test scores that were looked at, and kind of give you an idea, if you know where you stand within your class as far as your class rank goes, kind of what test scores to shoot for. But there's not a test score that that we have to have in order to get you admitted right now. Now, if you're in the top 10, and it used to be top 10, but now it's the top 25%, you're going to be automatically admitted into SFA as long as you're meeting the minimum graduation requirements, which is basically your 4 maths with an algebra 2, 4 sciences, and 2 foreign languages. You have that, you're in the top 25%, you're going to be admitted really without issue. Now, if you fall down second quarter, third quarter, or fourth quarter, we're going to file review you. We're going to look at the whole holistic review. So we're going to look at your overall GPA, your class rank. We're going to look for community service hours, if you had a job, if you were in sports, band, government, things of that nature. So we're kind of getting the whole picture. But this chart here will let you know and give you a little bit better understanding, second quarter, third quarter. If you were to make those scores, you're going to have a pretty good shot of getting admitted into SFA as well. So just some quick admissions requirements for you. Now, here's kind of the checklist of applying to college. And this is kind of general for any university that you may be thinking about. But more specifically for SFA, again, applytexas.org. You'll get on there. Most state universities here in the state of Texas will accept the Apply Texas application. You'll fill that out, complete that one time, and then you can select different universities to submit your application to. If you haven't already, I highly recommend that you go ahead and start that application. Applications have been out and open since July 1st. So you can apply early, get everything turned in, and that way we can start getting some decisions to you. And we need that official high school transcript. If you have any dual credit classes or anything of that nature, make sure you'll send us that college transcript as well, and we can start that process. While we're talking about this checklist, it seems early. It seems early on, right? You know, you're just now starting your senior year, and all of a sudden we're already trying to push you into applying for colleges. But we always tell our students, when I say we, us admissions counselors for colleges, always recommend and encourage our students to apply early for a number of reasons. But one, we want to make sure that you can get this in an appropriate amount of time, so you're not missing any important deadlines, scholarship deadlines, things of that nature. Also, we want you to be able to enjoy your senior year. The college process can be stressful and overwhelming. So the earlier that you start this process, it allows, if documents need to be changed or if there's a hiccup, we have some time to work with. A perfect example, and I never thought I would have to use this example, I never pictured it, but for my previous seniors, the seniors from last year, our freshman class this year, that was the one of the biggest issues we ran into was when March hit and everything started shutting down, and testing centers weren't open, and students weren't able to get shot records right away, and it really caught a lot of students off guard because they were just waiting. They just thought they had all the time in the world, which on most normal years they may have. But for those students who listened and got everything turned in by November, December, they were just fine. They were admitted. They didn't have anything to worry about. So hopefully we don't have to go through anything like this. Hopefully not in your lifetime, but if and when things happen, we want to make sure that you've applied early, just so you know life can throw a curveball at you at any time. If you're able to, go ahead and start the application process. Check with Miss Victoria or your school, and they will be able to get those transcripts sent out for you. Now, you see the next couple bullets here. These are just some little bits of advice to keep you organized while you start this college application process. Whether it's to SFA or any other university, it's always good to go ahead and keep folders separate because each university is going to require different documents. Most of us all are going to need that application and your transcript. Some schools are still requiring test scores, some aren't. Some have different deadlines. So if you keep the schools that you're applying to separate and keep them in separate folders, it'll help you out. And so you're not stressing and going, oh, who did I send my transcript to? Or when was SFA's deadline versus somebody else's deadline? So just some good ideas to keep in mind there. Next thing is just a quick snapshot of the financial aid aspect of it. So we've got you to apply. We've got you admitted. Now, how much is it going to cost to attend SFA? You'll see here, this is from last year's billing cycle. We have the average tuition, room, board, book supplies, travel, everything factored in is just under $25,000 for the year there. That's a full-time student living on campus. That's kind of everything. Now, one of the areas that we really like to recommend for our students to think about is there is your average tuition cost or a flat-based tuition where you can log in and lock in a tuition fee or tuition rate for all 4 years of school. That way, some years it may fluctuate. Your junior, senior year, if the economy changes, prices may go up. But if you've locked into that flat rate, then it'll be the same across the board. And it doesn't change whether you're taking 12 hours, 15 hours, 18 hours. You're still paying that same flat tuition rate. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Now, seeing that big number of $25,000 a year, a lot of times students will take a big step back and go, oh my goodness, $25,000, I can't afford that, or my family can't write that check. I promise you, not many families across the country are writing that check, if any. There are tons of financial aid opportunities out there, grants, loans, scholarships that will help you pay for school. So don't think that you have to pay $25,000 right out of pocket. Your counselor's there. You're probably going to have a financial aid day where Ms. Victoria is going to sit everybody down or have you come by and make sure you fill out your FAFSA, or that she's going to have packets of scholarships and things of that nature. So there's money out there to help you go to school. If you have a question about that, please reach out to me, myself, any other college that you're looking at. Don't let money be a deterrent to keep you out of school. There's ways to help you out there. Grants, that's free money that you've been awarded for some reason. Of course, there's loans that are out there. There's good loans and bad loans. There's also scholarships. There's scholarships, that's money that you may have to apply for. But again, you don't have to pay that money back. If you're awarded that scholarship money, that's money in your pocket. That's less money that you're going to have to pay outright. Now on the screen, there's just a couple, the next couple slides, there's just a few scholarships that SFA has to offer. While they're up there, I'm just going to kind of talk briefly about our deadline and kind of how the scholarships work at SFA. Now we have a few scholarships that are automatic if you qualify, if you're in the top 10%, and they're going to be on the next slide with the actual breakdown and everything. But basically at SFA, all you have to do is complete one scholarship application, which would be through your MySFA account. After you apply to SFA, you set up your MySFA account, and you have access to everything that's SFA related, and that scholarship application will be located there inside your MySFA account. What you do once you complete that application, you hit submit, and that'll filter through all the scholarships that you're eligible for. So you don't have to go out there and fill out 10 or 15 different application packets. You fill out one, submit, and you're good to go. Now, the biggest thing to keep in mind with those scholarships, and on this slide here at the very bottom right-hand corner, it's in red there, the deadline is February 1st of 2021 of your senior year. So that is a hard deadline. That's been the same scholarship deadline way back even when I applied to SFA. And we don't foresee that changing anytime soon. So February 1st every year is a scholarship deadline. So you definitely want to make sure you have everything turned in by February 1st to be eligible for those scholarships. The Academic Excellence Scholarship Program that you see there on the screen, if you're in the top 10%, we're automatically going to give you $3,000 a year. That's potentially $12,000 for 4 years of school that just the admissions office gives you for being in the top 10%. You're also eligible for it if you're in the top 25% with certain test scores, 24 on the ACT, or I believe it's 1170 or 1200 on the SAT. We have it listed on our website, and I'll make sure to direct you to that at the end of this presentation. But there's money out there. That's kind of the point of this, is just let you know that there's scholarships that are available. Now, that deadline for SFA is just for SFA scholarships. If there are local scholarships in your community, definitely try out for those, complete those applications. We can accept those at any point in time. So stop by and talk to your Go Center. Go to your Go Center. They typically have packets of local scholarships. Fill those out. You would be amazed at how many scholarship dollars either go unused because students just simply didn't apply for them, or you'll see if you've ever been to a scholarship ceremony, or you hear if it's printed in the paper or something, you may hear like one or two students' names being said over and over again about being awarded scholarships. And a lot of times students think, well, of course, Miss Aspen got all the scholarships because she's the number one in our class, so I can't compete against her. Well, that may be true as far as being number one in your class, but a lot of times that one student is the only one who filled out the application, and they filled out all the applications. And so if they're the only ones who filled it out, then yeah, those scholarship committees are like, well, we're going to give them the money. So don't be afraid to go out and fill out those scholarship applications. The worst that a scholarship committee can tell you is, hey, you didn't get this one. And that's all right. There's tons out there. So keep that in mind when you're starting to fill out scholarships. There's money out there for you. All right, this next part, I'm going to briefly hit it just so you know the options that are out there. If you decide to come into SFA right out of high school, that's excellent. We've already talked about how to get admitted there. But let's say at the end of the senior year, you don't think you're ready to go off to a four-year school. You just want to stay home, stay locally. Maybe this pandemic still has you worried, and you and your family have talked, and you don't want to move away from home just yet. That's okay. Stay around, continue your education, go to a community college, junior college. That's perfectly okay. Take you 15 transferable hours for a semester, then you can transfer into SFA the very next semester. As long as you maintain a 2.0 GPA, you can transfer right in. So that's the biggest thing with that. We just want to make sure that you're aware. Now, these are new hours if you attend a community college or junior college after high school graduation for a semester. That's when we label you a transfer student. If you're a high school senior and you just happen to have 20, 25 hours of dual credit, you're not a transfer student. You still apply as an incoming freshman, and then we'll readjust your hours once we get you admitted into SFA. So this is just for if you plan on attending another school after high school graduation, and then the following semester you want to come to SFA, or whenever the case may be after that, then you can transfer into SFA. Ooh. Well, let me get back here. All right. Now we've talked about just our basic general admissions requirements. Let's go back to the slide that we're on. I want to tell you guys a couple of different options that you may have if you're worried about being admitted into a university or a college or SFA right after graduation. So we've talked about, some of those admissions requirements and automatic admissions if you're in the top percentages of your class, and how you can be automatically admitted. But let's say that you had maybe a bad freshman year or your sophomore year, whatever the case may be, your GPA dropped and you don't think that you're going to you're going to meet admissions requirements. We have a couple of alternative admissions standards that I'm going to show you guys real quick that we're going to discuss and talk about. And then what I want to make sure that you know is that this is specifically for Stephen F. Austin State University. If you're looking at some other schools, there may be some other alternative admissions requirements that those other universities have. So this is just solely for SFA. Now you see the first bullet there, retake the ACT or SAT. Again, that's test optional. We are test optional. But if you're able to take it, we always highly recommend that you do take those test scores so an admissions committee can look at those scores and kind of get a better picture, understanding of you. And then also there's a lot of scholarship committees that still need those tests. Anytime you submit new information, we're always going to re-review your file. If you came back over Christmas break and maybe you bumped up a little bit, in your class rank. If there's something that has changed, if you took a dual credit class that we didn't know about, anytime you send us new information, we will re-review that file. Let's say that you've applied, you've gone through all that, and then you still weren't admitted into SFA. You could, at that point, you're eligible for our JAX Pass program, which is basically our program over the summer before you start your senior year. You come down to SFA, you take 3 classes, 7 hours. You pass those 3 classes with the 2.0 GPA, C average. You can keep going right on in the fall semester. So it's just a alternative area there for you. And then the Academic Opportunity Program, or we call it AOP, that's just an excellent opportunity for you to appeal the decision if there's something that happened that was out of your control that we need to know about. So keep those in mind. And that's just in the off chance that you're not admitted on your first go around. Okay, next thing I want to dive into is really what SFA life is like, what it's going to be like as a student on campus at SFA. This is the part that I love talking about. You know, we have to talk about the admissions numbers and the applications and the scholarships and deadlines. I get it. That's all kind of boring information, right? You really want to know what is going on campus. And so the next few slides, that's what we're going to talk about before we wrap up, is just kind of campus life and what it means to be an SFA student. We are steeped in history and traditions at SFA. Nacogdoches itself is the oldest town in Texas, so there's tons of history that comes with that. But SFA has some great traditions to be a part of and to get you involved. Now, I'm going to talk specifically, obviously, about SFA and our history and traditions and campus life and things of that nature. Whatever university that you're looking at, see what's out there. See if you're going to enjoy being a student on that campus. This is really what it's about. Of course, every college is going to have great academics and classrooms and facilities. That's what makes us college. No university, no admissions counselor that you're going to hear from or talk to is going to say, "Oh, our academics are okay." You know what? Everybody's going to say we have the best business, or we have the greatest nursing, or whatever. And it's all true. Universities, you're going to get an education wherever you go, but the college experience is more than just in the classroom. We want you to get involved outside the classroom to become part of the university. So when you graduate and you walk across stage, you have tons of memories to come back and look back on. And then you yourself become a recruiter for the university. When you graduate and you go out and you say, "Man, I had the best 4 or 5 years of my life was at SFA." And so I'm going to tell you a couple of ways to give you a couple of options to get involved and to look to see what all we have to offer. First thing, we are the Lumberjacks. That's our mascot. We're out there in the East Texas Piney Woods. It was just a good fit. And that was chosen by our students. We got real close to be calling the Pine Cones, but the students voted against that and voted for the Lumberjacks. So thank goodness. I don't know how much intimidation we'd have on the sporting side if the mighty Pine Cones rolled onto the field. But when you see the Lumberjacks walking out there with an axe, that tends to pose some intimidation to your opponents. So but we're pretty pumped about that. The top right-hand corner, you'll see there is the SFA ring tradition. Once you hit 90 hours, you get ready to go into your senior year. We have the big dip ceremony where the president comes out and he awards you your class ring. You dip your hand into a big purple vat of dye. It dyes your hand purple. Then they give you your ring. You put your ring on. You get discounts throughout the community, going to restaurants and shop and things of that nature. And then you have your class ring. So that's a pretty neat tradition there. Bottom left-hand corner, most Texas high schools are familiar with homecoming. Football season, well, we're just like that. We have a homecoming week, have a homecoming court. We wrap up the week on a Friday night with a huge bonfire. There's concert, fireworks, all kinds of things going on out there. We have an excellent marching band. We have a 350-member marching band known as the Boldest Sound from the oldest town. They travel all over the world. So just a number of ways to get involved there. This slide here just has a few images of some of the other traditions on campus. Top left-hand corner, Chief Cato. He is the largest NCAA trophy that's passed between 2 universities in the country. So it's not just for small universities. Out of all the big universities, we have the largest trophy that's passed back and forth. There's an awesome tradition and story that goes along with Chief Caddo. I don't have time today to tell you guys, but if you're curious about it, let me know. I love talking about that. Our steam tower, the victory lights, those are purple lights, those airport lights sit on top of the steam towers, which is the resident hall on campus. Anytime our lumberjacks, lady jacks win, you'll see those lights turned on. You can see those throughout the entire county of Nacogdoches. Purple Haze, our largest student section on campus, our spirit organization, just a great way to get involved, get out there at all the sporting events, have a good time. Then that bottom picture, this is probably one of the coolest, most unique things to SFA is our axe handles. Again, we are the lumberjacks. The tool of a lumberjack is an axe, but for safety reasons, we don't want 13,000 of our students walking around with axes on campus, right? But you are presented with an axe handle. All of our incoming freshmen have the opportunity to get an axe handle, and then you can decorate it. You can decorate it whatever your personality is. It's a symbol of the university, but more than that, it's a symbol of you coming to college. You're starting over. You're starting new. It's a blank slate. Whatever stereotypes you thought you were in high school, or maybe you tripped at high school graduation and somebody took a picture of it, and you're like, I'm going to be remembered for this forever. We don't worry about any of that stuff at college. You come in with a clean slate, you get to decorate it and start your whole new chapter at college there. So decorate that axe handle however you want to. Campus life, again, there's just some things, some sports and things like that we have going on. We are NCAA Division I sport university. We're in the Southland Conference. We have around 17 men and women's sport teams, baseball, basketball, cross country. We have beach volleyball, which is something new. We're a national championship bowling team on campus. So if you're interested in playing sports on a D1 level, you can do that at SFA, or if you just want to be a fan, it's great energy at the Coliseum stadiums and out of our complexes. With that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and start wrapping this up. This is just kind of that last aerial shot of campus. I definitely want to make sure and let you guys know that we are slowly starting to open campus back up, slowly starting to offer tours. If you get an opportunity within the next few months, please come down and visit campus. Put your feet on our campus, walk around SFA, visit Nacogdoches. It really is just a beautiful place. The atmosphere has that hometown feel. You're coming to a 4-year university, a Division I college, but it really has that small private school feel. You're going to see familiar faces. It's, like I said, in the Piney Woods of East Texas, so it stays green year round. It's just a great place to come and visit and check out. So we definitely want to make sure we invite you out to check out SFA. Again, my name is Ryan. I want to make sure I leave up my contact information here on the screen just for a second so you can write my number down, my email address. If you have any questions at any point in time, please don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. I'm here to help you guys out. So with that being said, we look forward to seeing you, and hopefully we can make you a lumberjack at SFA. So axe 'em jacks.